white creatives until they prove me otherwise. They can't see out of this world. They can't imagine beyond this world and even beyond this planet, because we've gone outside the planet and we've seen, the stars and whatever. We still haven't seen this world, but because the world includes all the planets, not just Earth, because that's what we think. When people say world, we think Earth. No, sir. Sorry. And that's that's exactly my point. They see it as Earth. And then, well, if I write a book or write a movie about people on the planet Pluto, well, then that's science fiction. No. Oh, well, they say Pluto ain't even a planet no more. But anyway, I don't teach science, y'all. I teach history, so don't ask. But yeah, so that just doesn't automatically make it science fiction. But for them, it does. And that's why I think in that area, they held us back. What did the white northerners say about the southern whites in the last podcast? They said that they retarded the South. I think that's what they did, just to that realm or that genre of art. Yeah, they held it back because their lack of imagination. And then come on now, you just don't put little colors on stuff and change this a little bit, squiggly line that, and now all of a sudden, oh, it's science fiction, it's out of this world. No. So I don't think they have that ability until they prove me otherwise. That is my thought. Nope, I don't care. I said it. I said what I said, and I'm gonna stand 10 toes in it. Let me get back to Miss Octavia Butler and her writing, because I want to tell y'all about one of her stories that I personally love. Besides Kindred, all of her work is just, it's just awesome. So her work not only broke the color barrier in science fiction, but challenged the norm, of course, dominated by white males. She stands as a towering figure, not just for her imaginative narratives, but for the profound social commentaries embedded within them. So her novel, Kindred, is a prime example of how she used science fiction to confront the harsh realities of history. So, Butler once wrote, "I began writing about power because I had so little." Yeah, that's something that you'll see resonate in her stories. She frequently placed marginalized characters in position of influence and complexity. Despite her work, Butler faced significant challenges and criticisms. Of course, as a black woman in science fiction, a field where she was a rarity, she often encountered dismissiveness and genre snobbery. Ooh, is that turning your nose up at someone? Why do when I think of the word snobbery, I think English, British. I don't know why. That was just a horrible British accent. I just tried. Maybe y'all didn't hear it. That's cool. So, they often marginalized her work as niche or categorized it outside of mainstream science fiction. Yet she persevered. Of course, that's a typical black woman in you, using her unique perspective to challenge the status quo within the genre. Her series Parable, specifically Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents cemented her legacy, offering a dystopian vision that was as unsettling as it was prophetic. In those works, both, she explored themes of community, resilience, adaptability in the face of societal collapse, themes that we see resonate today. Societal collapse. That is one that, wait till I get to it. Societal collapse. So her ability to intertwine social issues with speculative fiction not only earned her critical acclaim, but also sparked important conversations about the role of science fiction in examining the human experience. So basically, she was good at mixing stories about society problems with make-believe futuristic ideas, right? And it, of course, made her writing popular eventually at some point. And it just basically got people to talk about how science fiction stories can help us understand real life stuff. So basically, in so many words, that's what she did. And this is proof of what she did. So her contributions to literature extended far beyond confines of genre, making her one of the most influential writers of her time. One of Octavia Butler's most powerful quotes come from her novel, Parable of the Sower. And one of my favorites, of course, like I mentioned. It says, all that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Now that is something, right? Them the kind of people I like reading. See, people just think that, reading is just so boring, but it's not. It really takes you to a whole nother place. Plus, you can read about the juiciness of, like W.E.B. Du Bois and him shooting slugs at people in the 1900s. It's fun. It's really, really fun. It's something that I enjoy. So that quote is the central theme of the novel, Parable of the Sower. And it revolves around adaptability, resilience, and the transformative power of change. Now, her being able to do that, being able to weave, philosophical thoughts into narratives is what makes her work so impactful. This quote, to me, reflects her understanding of the interconnectedness of actions and consequences. And that's what I'm going to get to in a second, about actions and consequences. So her narratives were not just stories, they were profound social commentaries, but they were also, I think they were, what's the saying? Is it life imitating art or art imitating life? I don't know, because y'all have to read Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents. You got to read it. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Parable of the Sower. Okay. It's real cool, intense. It was written in 1993. Okay. 93. And the story is set in future America around the 2020s. Around the 2020s. We in 2023 right now. So, things is, pretty rough. Society fall apart because all sorts of problems like climate change, economic crisis, social unrest. Those sound familiar, right? That sound familiar. Climate change. How long was the winter this year in 2023? Because I'm in Texas and we're on like about 15 days of winter. Hell, we haven't got out of summer yet. Last week? Week and a half ago? Hell, it was 85 degrees. Climate change is real. And normally around this time, it'd be cold. It would really be cold. So, and she wrote about this in her book, Parable of the Sower. So, the main character is this smart, tough girl named Lauren. She lives in a community that's trying to survive during all the chaos. The unique thing about Lauren is that she has a condition called hyperempathy. And hyperempathy means she feels other people's pain and pleasure, which makes life extra hard for her. So the story really gets going when her community is destroyed and she has to go into a journey, a dangerous journey north to find safety. Along the way, she started developing new belief system called Earthseed, which is another book I have to recommend. So, and it's all about adapting and surviving in a changing world. So the book is adventure, survival, and it's also Lauren's deep thoughts about life and the future. It's like a wake-up call about what could happen if we don't take care of the world and each other. But that is basically what's happening right now. If you just think about what's happening right now, this is exactly what's happening. Climate change, economic crisis. Economic crisis. Rent rates are just going through the roof. You cannot, single parent caring for children in 2023. It's impossible. You have to have a second income. Like it's a must in order for you to just take care of basic needs today. That is an economic crisis. That's exactly what that is. That's an economic crisis. Rent is increasing. Wages are stagnant. Rent is going up. Wages aren't going up with rent. That means if 10 years ago you was making $7.25 an hour and you was paying $500 a month for rent, now you're paying $1,200 a month for rent, still making $7.25 an hour. That's an economic crisis. That means people have to work 3 or 4 jobs, 3, 4, 5 jobs. And then you have social unrest. George Floyd was in 2020. The whole protest, that was 2020. People was outside. Then we was in a whole fucking pandemic. 1 million people died. Like, that is some shit that's in Parable of the Sower. And she also, I want to say this was in Parable of the Sower. In that same book, it talks about a figure that becomes president of the country that's a whole fucking narcissist that has like a cult of personality and has basically like a whole cult of people following him. That sound familiar too. She warned us, huh? I mean, y'all think what? You know what? Y'all think the Simpsons was stealing from Octavia Butler? Okay.